Hey everybody, what is going on? How y'all doing out there? It's Kaiser, and it is time for some more movie news because, well, as things are going, yep, right now the big movies that are on everybody's minds are Indy 5 and Little Mermaid, and yep, Little Mermaid, we are waiting on the actual information and numbers to start kind of rolling in since it premieres this evening. So we'll kind of see things there. But guess what? Another movie that is a month away from the box office is absolutely getting savaged, and that is Indiana Jones 5. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is absolutely getting raked over the coals, and I would say rightly so. If this alleged plot leak, and yep, this is going to be a spoiler review for anybody who might be reading this. Yeah, so if this is the case, this movie is in for some serious problems. So, what is being said here? So, this is courtesy of Bounding into Comics. So, alleged Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny plot leak claims Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character makes the heroic choice to knock out Indiana Jones to protect history. Yep, we've been saying it since day one, since that she was first put into the character roster of Indiana Jones 5. We knew for a fact, based on all the other films that she's been in with, Disney and Lucasfilm, that it was going to be Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character that ultimately makes the heroic choice and ultimately is the hero, subverts the classic hero that we know and love, and we're going to see the classic hero we know and love as a broken, bitter, spineless, pathetic old man who is disillusioned with life. And that is exactly what the plot leaks are saying. Called it. Just calling it. We said it months ago, almost a year ago. We knew this was going to happen, but no, did anybody listen? An alleged plot leak for Lucasfilm's upcoming Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny film claims that Phoebe Waller-Bridge's Helena character is the one who makes the critical heroic decision because Indiana Jones refuses to do so. Not only does she make the heroic decision, but the decision is punching Indiana Jones and knocking him out. Yep, we knew this was going to happen. Been saying it since day one that, yep, they're going to find a way to make Indy look like a chump in his own movie, and it's going to be her. According to Reddit user is like Lunk Jones, who shared what he claims is a full plot synopsis for the film. At the end of the film, Mads Mikkelsen's Dr. Jürgen Voller is able to complete the Dial of Destiny and attempts to use it to travel back in time in order to kill Hitler to prevent Germany from invading Poland and committing its big mistake. However, the Dial of Destiny does not take Voller to Sicily in 1939, but rather transports him, Indiana Jones, and Helena, who are aboard airplanes, to the Roman siege of Syracuse. Okay. Voller and the rest of the Germans end up dying in the plane crash, while Indy and Helena are able to escape the plane using a parachute. Upon landing on the ground, Indiana Jones encounters Archimedes, who also retrieves the completed Dial of Destiny from the corpse of Voller. Archimedes proceeds to ensure the Dial of Destiny can only transport users to him in Syracuse during the siege, while also obtaining one of Voller's watches, giving him knowledge on the device. The plot synopsis explains, as Helena tells him that Archimedes has rigged the dial in making sure it only sends back to Syracuse on the day of the siege so that they could save him. We understand it's thanks to this jump in time that he found his knowledge about watches and on how to complete the dial. From there, Luke Jones details that Indiana Jones does not want to return to the present, but would rather stay in Syracuse because he believes there is nothing for him in 1969. In contrast, Helena attempts to convince Indy to return to the present, believing that if he stays, the world stays in the past, he would change the course of history. Okay, hold up. So, they basically start this movie with Indy is divorced from Marion Ravenwood, who he got married to at the end of Crystal Skull. Mutt apparently dies off screen during the Vietnam War. And so then this all happens. And again, we catch up with Indy. Apparently, from what we have already heard on like how the movie begins and the plot and everything from other videos, he basically wakes up in his chair drunk and with divorce papers next to him and being forced out of the college, forced to retire, all of this. So we see our titular hero of Indiana Jones as a pathetic, broken, just disillusioned and jaded old man who is just basically done with life. This sounds very familiar to exactly what they did to Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi. Kathleen Kennedy, I swear, has like a type. I'm just saying. And of course, just like this movie, or just like Return is like The Last Jedi, I'm sure there is a amazing, wonderful, flawless new person who obviously Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who is going to take up his mantle, because why wouldn't she do it? Oh, don't worry, we're getting there in this story. A little foreshadowing for you. But yeah, again, I do want to back up on this one. So, according to this says that Indiana Jones does not want to return to the present, which is 1969 in this movie, but would rather stay in Syracuse because he believes that there's nothing for him in 1969. Indiana Jones knows better than that. This is a man who has studied archaeology for all those years, and he knows full well that going back in time and staying there, he knows that it will affect the timeline no matter how minutely. So they're just deconstructing his character, making him, again, lonely, pathetic, bitter, and disillusioned. Basically, he wants to die. Yep. Indy apparently is unconvinced by Helena's arguments, so she resorts to punching him and knocking him out. Yep, that's what it says. Let me embiggen this for y'all. Indy apparently is unconvinced by Helena's arguments, so she resorts to punching him and knocking him out. Yep. So don't forget this. That nothing for him in 1969, believes that he wants to basically just die. Is it any wonder why people are pissed off with these movies? When Indy awakes, he's back in 1969 New York City in his bed. He then reproaches Helena for having brought him back to the present, although there is nothing for him here. However, Helena counters that there is something for him to continue living for, and Marion shows up at his apartment with a number of groceries. The film earlier made it clear that Marion and he were either divorced or on the brink of divorce, as divorce papers were pinned to Indy's fridge, held up by a picture of Marion. The two eventually appear to reconcile whatever contrived issues the film gives them to have. They embrace and they kiss, and the plot synopsis explaining they reenact the boat scene from Raiders in reverse before Indy kisses her. Of course. Finally, the film reportedly ends with a shot of Indiana Jones's hat on a drying line outside of the apartment with what appears to be Jones's hand, eventually grabbing it off the line as the camera zooms onto the hat that is in a smaller circle similar to old Warner Brothers cartoons. Luke Jones details the screen reduces to a small circle like a Tom and Jerry cartoon circling the hat and appearing to just end there just before we see Indy's hand. Can't be 100% sure it was his. Now that I think back about it, it makes sense that it was. Getting the hat back inside. The end. Oh yeah, how much you want to bet that was actually her hand? And we just aren't going to find out about that until the purported Indiana Jones Disney Plus series, which is apparently still moving forward now that I've heard. On top of Ford admitting his character now lacks courage, bravery, and strength, Lucasfilm has also good grief. On top of Ford admitting his character now lacks courage, bravery, and strength, Lucasfilm also been captured by feminist ideology that derides male characters. That's a bit of a... Should be Lucasfilm has also been... Okay, whatever. Excuse me. Grammar caused my brain to skip. Back in 2015, Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy admitted to embracing this ideology throughout the entire company. She said during Fortune magazine's Most Powerful Women Summit, the fact that the company was bought by the Walt Disney Company has been amazing because they very much support the fact that we are trying to grow in the workforce a number of women in executive positions and in all positions inside the company. And with the movies that we are making and with the protagonists that we are putting in the stories, I get a huge amount of support with that, she continued. Kennedy then touted, but we have 50% of our top executive team are women, 6 out of 8 in the people in my story group are women, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that would be surprised that we're making Star Wars movies, and the majority of the people involved in the development of these stories are women, and I think that it's making a huge difference in the stories that we're trying to tell. Okay, well, that's just your opinion. I mean, okay, that's what you think, but, I mean...
Yeah, well, that's just like, your opinion, man.
Okay, well, that's covering all the plot points and everything about this. So, folks, as I mentioned early on, and when I first started covering this, even before I started covering this, I knew this was going to be it. This was going to be a giant bait and switch. Look, I don't care about, the whole executives being women and women in the story groups and whatnot and women in stories. I don't care about any of that. What I care about is leave the characters, to be what they already are. If you want to make movies with, heroic or, very powerful, women characters, go ahead and just do that. You could literally make whatever story you want, but just leave the stories that already exist alone. Okay? It's not that hard. Make your own stuff. Stop cannibalizing things that people already like and degrading the heroes that we already have, that we already enjoy. It's irritating. So, if we needed a bigger flag, a bigger red flag, that this movie was already going to be a giant bomb, aside from the fact that their release schedule, with releasing the embargo a month early, thinking that everybody was going to praise this movie to heaven and back at Cannes, Well, that was a giant fail, and that backfired on them. And now we've got over a month before this movie hits theaters, and it is going to be an absolute disaster. And again, if this alleged plot leak turns out to be true, it is going to be a disaster of epic proportions. We'll see what happens then. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great evening. Have a great day or a great morning, whatever time of day you're viewing this. I love y'all. Have a great one, and I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.